Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where and when you're listening to this. This is Coffee with Kevin, and I am your host, Kevin Martin, and this is my coffee. Mm-hmm, mm. All right. I was just noticing you're looking at this coffee cup. It's much faded compared to the little one in the icon for Coffee with Kevin. I've been doing this for quite a while. And we're enjoying the coffee is still great every day. I hope you have your nice hot, piping hot cup of coffee or tea or water, whatever it is that you're drinking. I'd like to share this with you this morning. Mm-mm-mm. Well, it's January 30th. Can you believe that we're 1/12 of 2024 already? Already. We're just kind of skyrocketing through. For some of you, and maybe even for me, it's going a little fast. I mean, there's a lot of things I want to accomplish, and it's going a little fast for me. Sometimes you want time to slow down. Sometimes you want time to slow down so you can get things done, or you can enjoy things better. Or sometimes you want to slow down so you can delay the inevitable. I know that when I was a kid on Sunday night, when I had a test or something going on in school the next morning, I said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't want this night to go like this because you'd fall asleep, you close your eyes, fall asleep, and you wake up, and it's the next day." And when you're a kid, that time period is an instant, um, because because that's just the way you view things. So you say, "Okay," I'd actually say to myself, believe it or not, I say to myself, I want this evening to feel like years, not just seconds or hours. I want it to feel like it's years long. And so sometimes I get that ability and I have all sorts of dreams and work through all sorts of things. Anyway, it's January 30th. What happened on this day in history? On this day in history, Gandhi was assassinated. Gandhi was assassinated in 1948. Um, eh, there's several things in here that aren't so positive. So I want to go for the positive things. 1994, and I remember this. Dan Jansen skates world record in the Olympics, 500 meters. He was a bullet across the ice. It was amazing. It was amazing. Today's the day in 1920 that the Mazda company was created. If you drive a Mazda, you'll be happy that, hey, a little over 100 years ago, this company was created. What else going on today? Oh, yeah. Yeah. 1933, the first episode of The Lone Ranger appeared on radio. Appeared, yes. Yes, it appeared on radio. It started on radio. So you had the stories of the Lone Ranger. When I think of that, I was, I grew up and we had TV. We had TV, but I listened to radio programs from time to time, and it is awesome to get a program from a listening point of view without having to see it. To use your imagination to be able to see it, it's a whole different world, and I think we should maybe go back to that. Now, I do listen to books. I listen to books, and some of the books I listen to are stories, and they're done not just by narrators, by voiceovers, but by actors. So you can actually, as if you're listening to a radio program. And some of the books actually have different voices for each of the characters. So it's really full on. And what that does is that activates different parts of our brain that allows us to use our own creativity instead of seeing it dictated to us exactly what's happening. We get to create what's happening. That's really healthy for us. And I love that. If you get a chance to find an audiobook where you can listen to it and it's narrated by actors, a fictional book, then it is cool. It is cool. It is the greatest thing. Yeah, let's see. I got some. Oh, it's Brenda again. Good morning. I am doing fantastic. Yogi, I am doing great. And how are you? This has been a great morning. Before I get into the quote of the day, the one big thing that happened in 1948 is Gandhi got assassinated. If you know anything about Gandhi, he was a spiritual leader and he was a pacifist. He was a pacifist, did not believe in violence or anything like that. So you say, why does anyone want to kill him? Why does anyone want to stop him? I mean, he's not about violence. He's all about peace. He's all about spreading really good part of human nature to the rest of us. So why? Some of us can't stand change. We're frightened to death of change. And so people like that want to stop anyone who is making any change, any significant change. And it doesn't matter in what direction. You might say, okay, if this was a Adolf Hitler, it makes sense someone wants to assassinate him because the change is not in a good direction. Gandhi's change was in a good direction for the most part, from almost everybody's point of view. But people are afraid of change. And so they'll do anything to prevent change. Now, that's the extreme. I want you to ask yourself, what do you do in your life to prevent change? I've always said, change is inevitable. As human beings, we change. Our bodies grow old. They mature from child to adult. And then from adult, we grow older and we change. Our physiology changes and our mindset changes and the way we view the world, the way we think, that all changes. We can't stop that. But the world around us changes too. The world around us is a constant when it comes to change. And you can't stop that. So instead of pushing back against it, instead of saying, okay, I don't want to change. And you can say that, by the way. You can say that and verbally let the world pass you because it's going to change. Because it's going to change. 20 some odd years ago, we didn't have this. We didn't have this data phone. We had cell phones, and in 10 years before that, we didn't have cell phones. We had these bulky things with antennas that allowed us to get away from the corded phone, right? And even those were hard to accept. I remember when I first bought my first microwave. I think I was on the leading edge. And my father-in-law said to me, he says, what are you going to do with that? Why do you need that? We got ovens, we got stove. Why do you need that? 10 years later, I'd see him, putting his coffee cup in the microwave, warming up. And he was using it for all sorts of stuff. If we decide to say, okay, I don't want to change. I don't want to change. I'm gonna stay here. You're gonna lose out on a lot of things. Matter of fact, you're gonna start to lose out on things that you just appreciate, you took for granted. Because look at our phones today. You know, we don't have to call anyone. We can text someone in an instant. In an instant, we can do all that stuff. And if you let yourself get lost and don't get updated, you lose out on some of the good stuff. You can look up things in an instant. So yeah, Learn to look at what change is doing for us and accept it as much as you can. Embrace it as much as you can. I'm going to get to today's. You'd think that today's quote would be about change. In a way, it is. In a way, it is, but not so much as what I've been talking about. I just wanted to add that because it always astounded me who'd want to kill Gandhi. From what we know, he was creating peace. He was creating unity, and maybe that was the unity part that people they didn't want that change. We found the same thing with Martin Luther King here in the U.S., creating equality and creating unity, and a lot of people didn't want that change. So today's quote is the best way to predict the future is to invent it. I know it doesn't have to do with change, but it does. It has to do with the change that you want for yourself. The best way to predict the future is to invent it. This quote has a lot built into it. The biggest thing it has built into it is you are in charge. You can take control of your life. The best way to predict the future. Because we all want to know what's going on in the future. Thousands of us go to these mediums and you know, these people who will tell you your future. And I always thought, what do I want to know my future? That's kind of fatalistic, isn't it? Oh yeah, Kevin, this is going to happen to you. Whether it's good or bad, by the way. This is going to happen to you. It's like I have no control. There's nothing I'm doing consciously that's going to bring me there because it's just stated in black and white. It's going to happen, and it's not that way. It's not that way. We have control over our future. Instead of finding out what's going to go on, wouldn't it be nice to know that you are going to be a big part of deciding what's going to go on for you? Wouldn't it be nice to know that you have a big part of control? Yes, there's other things that impact us that we have no control over. But the one thing we always have control over is the way we react to whatever happens. So we can decide, and yes, we do decide whether we're going to be happy or not. We can decide whether we're going to be fulfilled or not. We can decide whether we're going to love our life or hate it. It's a decision we all have, we all can partake in. It's a wonderful thing to do, it's a wonderful thing to have. That's right. Awesome. So, the best way to predict your future is to invent it. So, what do I do? What do I do? First of all, I think about what I want. I think about what I really, really want. And then I document it, I write it down. And you can type it in on your phone, you can type it in on your computer, but if you can write it down, it's even better because you're really engaging your physiology a lot more. That's right. You choose. Thank you, Brenda. You're really engaging your physiology a lot more. Um, here we go. You get to choose. Thank you, Brenda. That's awesome. When you write it down, your brain says, "Whoa, baby, you want this. Let's go for it." It's not that simple, but you write it down, you read it, you take it in. You start to believe it. You start to say, this is really what I want or who I want to be. And your mind says, all right, you sound serious about it. Let's see what we can do to get you there. Now, almost anything we do, there are going to be obstacles. There's not a clear, smooth path for anything because we're humans. That's just the way we're built. And then we're living in a world today with 8 billion other humans. There's always going to be something, but you got to be set in your focus and say, this is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. And yes, you start to go through it. And as you start to go through it, something's going to come up. Something's going to veer you away from your path for a few moments. And you say, okay, I got off path. When a pilot gets off path, when there's a wind current or another plane or whatever gets them off path and they start heading in the wrong direction by X number of degrees, do they just keep on going and say, oh, well, here I am. This is the direction I'm in now. I'm going to keep on going. No, they say, yes, let's get back on path. And no matter how many times that happens during the flight, they get back on path. And that's what you want to do. And when you can do that, you are predicting your future. You are creating your future. You're inventing your future. I love this subject, as you can tell, because, we're in control. Past couple of weeks, I got sciatica a couple of weeks ago, or at least the sciatica that I had, flamed back up. And I had a plan to go and assist 4 days in a training that I absolutely love, and I love to see other people learning. And I said, I could stay out. This is going to be easy. This is the easy path. I got off my direction and I can keep on going in that new direction. Or I can get back on and I can go there and I can work through the pain and still be a part of that. And I did. I did. It wasn't easy, but I got back in it and I enjoyed it. Mentally and emotionally, it was an incredible thing. And I got back on and I did that. So yes, we're going to get obstacles. We're going to get obstacles. Just go around them, go through them, do what you need to do. All right. I want to ask you to have a great week. No, I'm going to ask you to make it a great week. Make it a great week for yourself. Take care, all. Until next week. You want to know more about this? Reach out to me on LinkedIn or Facebook, or reach me at www.pauseeffects.com. POSEFFECTS.com. Bye.